Welcome to Reread, where I'm rereading through the expanded universe in chronological order. Folks, we're talking about Jedi Healer, Book 2 of the Medstar duology, and boy, does it just keep getting better. Let's see. There's great scenes in here. I took a lot of notes on this one. Din, the Celestian, he's always drinking at the bar. He's talking to I-5. Oh, I'll find a way to get you drunk. And I-5's like, at this point, nothing's going to work. And Din keeps making up, what if we do this? What if we do this? What if we do this to your program or your sensors or something? He's like, no, I would autocorrect, or there's a subroutine that would not allow that. And then Din just finally just passes out. And then, even though I-5 doesn't have all his memories, something about this situation seems familiar about him and Lauren, which I thought was really funny. There's a droid called Teetle, who is their waitress droid. Teetle has a bad voice recorder that kind of pops and squawks and everything. And like, can I get you anything else? Whatever. And they say, no, Teetle. And Teetle goes away. And I-5 looks at Teetle and goes, she's beautiful. And everyone looks and goes, I-5, are you in love with Teetle? He goes, no, but I had you all going there for a minute. It's so funny. It's so funny. Later on, he wins the pot, and they say, what does a droid need credits for? And he says, didn't you hear? I'm on my way to see the Sorcerers of Tun to buy a heart and a brain. I laughed several times. I love I-5. Maybe. Right now, leading as one of my favorite droids in the expanded universe right now. It's just so funny. I love it. And he's written very well. Very well. Barriss takes a Bota shot of Bota, and I can't remember. I want to say it's by accident. I don't think she did it on purpose, but she was giving it to someone else, and then she inhaled it too or whatever, and she becomes one with the Force. Like, it just enhances her Force powers exponentially. She's like, oh my gosh, what does this mean? What does this mean? And she didn't know if she should use it again. She wants to, but is that a bad thing or a good thing? And she wishes there was some other Jedi to talk to, because she really wants to know what that was all about. Lot of stuff here. The Bota is found out, Card finds out, the Black Sun agent finds out that the Bota is about to mutate and become worthless. So they need to ramp up their time to get the Bota off the planet. And he teams up with some third-party hirings from Black Sun, a Falleen and her partner, which is some other type of species. And he says, hey, you need to help me establish some Bota. I'll pay you really well. So yeah, Black Sun, they're contracted through Black Sun, and they agree to help him out and put it in freeze it in carbonite, put it on a ship, and have him get away with it. I'll go ahead and tell how this story ends. Card eventually escapes the planet with the Bota, and then realizes something is wrong with the Bota as he goes to inspect it, and he scans it and realizes there's thermal detonators in there. He's been betrayed, and he shoots them out the air like just in time as it explodes in space, and he goes, I'm going to get those two. I told him not to do. They said they would. He said they tricked him because they said, oh, we would never double cross Black Sun. We would never do that. We value our lives. He went, nope, you value money more, and I'm coming for you. But they never finished that story. I thought, well, maybe at the end, he'll appear in front of him. It's like, time for revenge or whatnot, But they never follow up on that, which I thought was kind of odd. At least not in this book. These books, they don't. Let's see, other things. I-5 has a great, as they're playing Sabbat, there's so many great conversations, like just everyday conversations. Nothing is boring in this book. Nothing is boring. I-5 turns to Josh and goes, I'm not, because he keeps saying, well, do you ever wonder what it's like to be human, to fall in love, to do stuff like that? And I-5 goes, I'm not the droid in all those children's tales who wants to become human. I'm happy just the way I am. They avoided a sci-fi trope here. And this was years ago, back when that trope was okay to have, but they knew it was a trope that was overly used at the time, and they just called it out, and I thought that was just brilliant. I-5 does find a program that gets him drunk. He downloads it. He and Din go into he downloads the program, walks into the bar, gets drunk, or acts drunk, and then Din goes, right behind you, buddy, and he's down in drinks. Well, I-5 decides to play Deseric, I can't remember the name right now, space chess with a Wookiee, and of course he wins, and of course the Wookiee rips off his right arm. And it's funny because I-5's like, where'd my right arm go? I'm sure I came in here with it. And he says, maybe you ought to sober up. He went, you think? He said, yeah. He goes, okay. And then he sobers up, and then he goes, well, that was interesting. And Josh's like, I wish I could sober up that fast. again, what does that have to do with the overall story plot? Nothing, but it's great. Oh, and then at this point, there's one of the chapters ends with I-5 going, I remember. And Josh goes, you remember what? He went, everything. So he knows that, he knows all the adventures of him and Lauren with Darth Maul. He also remembers that Lauren has a son named Jax, and Lauren asked him to take care of Jax if anything should happen to him. So and at the end of the book, he's going back to Coruscant to fulfill that promise, which of course is setting up for Coruscant Nights later on, where we'll get to see I-5 again, and I can't wait to see I-5 again. The new admiral of the fleet who replaces Bled, who died in the last novel, is Josh's uncle from the same planet. But Josh's uncle married someone a long time ago, was ostracized from his planet. His wife ended up dying like 4 years later, but he was still ostracized for even marrying her. And so he chastises his nephew. Don't make the same mistakes I did. But at the same time, when Josh goes, do you regret it? Would you change it if you had to do it over again? He went, no. Well, then why are you lecturing me is what Josh should have said. But he's like, oh, I know about your relationship with that Lordian nurse, Tolk. Think hard about this because I miss my family. But you just told Josh you had no regrets. This is the one storyline that makes zero sense. Zero sense. Because I'll move forward with this. Later on, he calls up Tolk to the Admiral's ship. I think he's on the Medstar or whatever, and not on the planet. And Josh's like, don't let my uncle, intimidate you. She went, don't worry, I won't. We're still in love forever. And as she goes up there, the Separatists attack the ship. A few hundred people get sucked out into space. And when she comes back, she's kind of distanced from Josh. And Josh thinks, oh, it's all those deaths on the ship. Or then maybe it's not the deaths on the ship. What could it be? She spoke to your uncle, something that you talked about right before she left. Don't let him sway you. It's so dumb that he doesn't know this, because you as the reader are screaming like, well, Josh, come on, you had this conversation. And when he finally figures it out, my uncle talked to her. And then he goes to his uncle and talks to him and is like, well, what was the point? What was the point of all this? You did not know this whole time. I mean, seriously, the whole book is supposed to be a big mystery of why Tolk is suddenly quiet with him and doesn't want to deal with him and thinks maybe they should have some time apart now. Well, he charges in on his uncle. His uncle goes, well, it was only for the best. It was only for the best. What is he doing? Doesn't make any sense. And then Josh says, oh, come on, everyone, you haven't been to the home planet in years. On our home planet, and this is what he says. He said, everyone's doing this now. They marry a girl, hometown girl, bring in a maid from another planet. The maid gets pregnant, and then they legally adopt the child, even though his wife never has a baby. It's a common practice among my people. And then you're thinking, okay, Josh, then what was your conundrum in book 1? When you said, I cannot marry her, she's not. Well, there's plenty of loopholes. It seems like the whole planet is okay with the loopholes. Because he said, everyone knows what's happening. They just turn and look the other way as long as tradition's being upheld. It totally negates everything that happened in the first novel. It's totally stupid. I mean, at the end, Josh and Tolk are getting married by the Admiral. The Admiral changes his mind. He recorded this whole conversation to show Tolk how much Josh really loved her. He's going to fix this, son. Don't worry about it. None of it makes sense. I'm ashamed that such an excellent book. This is still an excellent duology, but this is awful. It's an awful storyline. Thankfully, there are other story arcs, and all the other story arcs are way better. This is the one thing I can safely say bad about Medstar, was that storyline that just so awful. Let's see. Other things that I have. At the very beginning of the book, I guess someone mentioned, hey, you need to talk about Barris's adventure from Alan Dean Foster's. I went, do we? Okay, so Barris, at the very first chapter, she remembers the good old days back before the Clone Wars, when she and Obi-Wan and Anakin and her master all went to Anison and had this little adventure and told like little bits of it. And to be honest, maybe skip that book, skip Alan Dean Foster's book, The Approaching Storm, and just read that paragraph. That basically summarizes everything that happened in the book and help you not waste a lot of time either. But anyway, Lynn, the Separatist spy that's working with the Republic, as Barris is taking Bota, she starts to take Bota again. She decides she wants to take it again. She realizes there's a spy within the Republic camp, and it's someone she knows. she knows who this person is, and she doesn't know the name, but she's like, who could it be? And she starts running down the list of friends, and she separates into 3 people: Chloe, the shrink, Dean, the journalist, Celestian journalist, and of course Tolk, the nurse. And as she's going up to all of them, she goes, look, I'm just going to have you do it. Open up your mind to me, Den. He goes, okay, sure. And she scans his mind. He's not the spy. And then she runs down Tolk. Open up your mind to me. She does. She's not the spy. Yep, the spy is Plo. Josh has him at blaster point as Plo's about to leave. Plo is also Lynn's, the Separatist spy. It's great. It's great stuff. What happened with Plo is his planet got destroyed by the Republic. What? The Republic scientists were experimenting on their sun, accidentally did something to it that made the sun flare up, destroy the planet, and destroy the Republic space station. It was buried in the news because that's very bad publicity for the Republic, but the only people left alive are the people who weren't on his planet at the time, which he was one of them. And so after that, he vowed vengeance against the Republic, which is why he cares so much about the Separatist movement. Makes a lot of sense. Now, he thinks Josh isn't going to shoot him because Josh is a doctor. He turns to walk away. Yep, Josh does shoot him because he knows if I don't, he's going to just cause more pain and cause more deaths. In fact, he is responsible for the death of Zan because he was the one who helped out with their attack and their advancement on the med camp. So Josh knows that, but that's not the reason he wants to kill Plo or Chloe. He kills Chloe because, hey, if I let him go, he's just going to be more dangerous than ever before, which is right there. Overall, besides the terrible, terrible Josh story arc with Tolk and his admiral that doesn't make any sense and is just so stupid. Other than that, though, I will say Medstar is great. It's a great duology, well worth your time. All right, folks, that's it for now. See you later.